All right, without further ado, the man that we just intro, rocking the Plymouth South. What are we on his stove? Jeff Joy, what's up?
Caught me at the end of the night here. Yeah, rocking my Plymouth South. Everybody thinks I wrestle up here.
You didn't go to Plymouth South, did you?
No, we had a kid. We had a kid at the gym that would work out with us, and he was on the wrestling team. Real good kid, and he brought in some shirts and shit. And my buddy actually bought a couple.
Ah, nice. So, what are you cooking? We just came from the chef Will Sriracha. Are you cooking, or are you just cleaning the stove?
I am. No, I'm cooking, and I fucking hate cooking, dude.
So, you're living down in Jersey right now for this couple weeks?
No, I'm in South Philly, and
Jersey, same difference.
Yeah, it's literally like fucking over the bridge. It's like 5-10 minute drive. I'm in South Philly. This is my third time here too, and I gotta say this is probably the best neighborhood I've been in. It's real nice. Right across. The first neighborhood I went in was really rough. You know, I won't advocate that. I was a little scared, to be honest with you, the first couple.
So you've had some time off. You've been recovering from a couple like nagging injuries and stuff. What have you been doing in time off? Obviously, you just mentioned how you've been in Philly a couple times. What have you been up to? Kind of keep the fans in a little bit of the loop of what's going on in life.
No, I mean, I just enjoyed the summer down there. So like I left, I had a family matter and I went down to West Palm, and one of the last days I was in Florida, I went to a wakeboard park because I wakeboard a little bit, right? And I was with some people, and we were just I was watching these little kids doing backflips and all this stuff, and like I just like, dude, I gotta try the advanced park. And like, long story short, there's a part in the park that slingshots you, so you go from like 14 miles an hour to 22 miles an hour. And you kind of got to change stances a little bit and switch it. And I fell and held on. And long story short, it just like jerked my arm. So I got an MRI. I had a partial tear. Couldn't really do much. I was like trying to train around it. And then they started having me do physical therapy. So as soon as, physical therapy was done, I went right back out to Philly.
Nice. I guess with that busted up arm, you can't cut the hair. You growing the hair out?
Yeah, no, I'm being cheap, man.
So you got a razor? It's like $1.
What are you eating? Cereal too? Is that what you're eating for dinner?
No, dude, I'm eating rice and beans over here. I told you I'm living at the dollar store, bro.
So what helped? What was kind of some motivation to do this whole Philly, doing some fight camps down in Philly?
What is there? Where are you training down in Philly?
So the connection here is my coaches back home, Michael Gresham, Banana. Yo, what up? What up, bro? Hold up, one of my boys just walked in. Yo, okay, Josh made all of his. Josh was in New Jersey, so he came by.
Nice.
So my coaches are actually black belts under Daniel, and Daniel has schools. He's got a bunch of schools, like one in Vegas, one in Philly. Yeah, he's got a chain of them. Philadelphia is where probably his like most competitive kids are. Obviously his like biggest fighters, and it's not just him. I shouldn't say that. It's a guy named John Marquez too. So it's a split team, or not a split team. It's a partnership, Daniel Gracie and John Marquez. So it's two coaches there, and there's a slew of coaches. Like Friday, there's a wrestling coach. There's coaches that come from New York and teach some techniques and stuff like that. But the main coaches there are John Marquez and Daniel Gracie. And, they have like Sean Brady, Joe Piper, Andre's in there, Pat Sabatini. So they have like a handful of guys that are in the UFC, and a lot of guys like that are fighting like Eagle FC, Bellator, CFFC, LFA, shit like that. So after the pro got a little bit, like I had my first couple wins, me and Gresh had talked, and it was pretty much just getting the everyday high level training. Like I was going to Lozons and stuff like that, but I was at so many different, like I was doing strength and conditioning at one place. I was like going to Lozons to spar. Like this is pretty much everything under one roof, and they have a lot of different coaches coming in. And, you know, in a nutshell, I'm just getting older. So I really want to focus the next couple of years and see if it can get to a high level. And then if not, you know, I'll always be on the mats as a martial artist, but I definitely want to go, you know, pretty much I don't want to fight till I'm 40. You know what I mean? If it's not going anywhere. So now pretty much is the time to focus.
Well, you
So
want to fight.
you're making. Sorry, Mike.
No, I was gonna say you'll want to fight when you're 40, but you just probably will be mature enough not to fight.
Right, yeah, who knows?
I can picture Jeff Joy in the Wareham bars throwing down a couple buds, heavies.
Nah, bro. Come on, Mike, don't do me like that.
Listen, I don't think fighting ever leaves you. I'm 41, and I still think to myself, I'm like, oh man, I'd love to kick this kid's ass. So I'm with you, brother.
You still always have a little bit, right? So the first time I was for the Michael Taylor fight was my first camp out here, and I knew after that I was like, this is definitely the place to be if I want to do something.
Yep. Nice.
So it was that first initial camp that motivated you to start continuing going down to Philadelphia to prep for these camps. This is honestly, I think this is the first I've heard of this. I had no idea that you've been spending as much time down in Philly prepping for these fights. But being around all those,
loop.
I forget a lot of shit. I get punched in the head a lot and smoke maybe a little too much weed, so I forget shit sometimes. But you're saying like now's the time to really focus in. You're 3-0. You're taking on a tough competitor, and Will Smith. Definitely got some questions I want to ask about your opponent coming up. But you say that this is the time to really hone in and focus. What is your ultimate goal in the next 2 years, not taking away the fact that you're ultra focused on the opponent at hand already?
You know, like I have it in my head. Like the next 2 years, I definitely have certain things in my head. Like I want to do this, this, and this. I won't really like speak on them too much. I mean, I think I'm going in. Shit, what is this? My 8th or 9th Cage Titans event. I think this is like my 9th. So yeah, I'm still young in it in my pro career, so I can't really say too much. I really definitely want to focus on Will, and he's had obviously 2 losses, but really what I'm watching is his Bellator fight against John Duma, because he looked really good in that fight, and that's what I'm expecting, you know.
Yeah, he lost a split decision to Duma, who's 7-2 as a pro. You know, has that potential to make the next level. I was going to ask you a little bit about Will, like, you know, what's something that excites you about Will Smith and taking on him in this fight? Is it the experience, the measuring stick to see where you're at 3-0 and seeing, you know, what's your excitement about taking on this type of matchup?
I mean, I just think overall talent. He's good. He's around my age. You know what I mean? He's in good shape. He's not a slouch. He can obviously strike. Obviously, you know, John Duma is primarily a like wrestler, jiu-jitsu. He can obviously strike too, but he had a takedown against him. He looked pretty well, and his striking looked well against him. So he's pretty overall complete. And you know, the first couple wins as a pro, or the first couple fights as a pro, like if you really want to do something at a next level, it's like I got to do this, or I got to finish this kid in this amount of time. I don't want to focus on that anymore. Like this is my 4th pro fight. I just want to go in there and fight and not put like expectations like I have to finish them there, or if I have to do this in this amount of time, because I think the fighting's going to be a lot cleaner if that happens. So, you know, I'm just excited because it's pretty much at that point in my career where he's a good opponent. There's no, you know, everybody has holes. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's perfect, but he's pretty solid all around. And it's definitely my first competition at this level as a pro. You know, I mean, I had my last 2 amateur fights was really tough. You know, Arthur and Cam. You know what I mean? But now it's to the point now where Will get past Will. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be some serious fights. So definitely time to focus.
Yeah, get through Will Smith, and he's like sitting at 3-5. But you look at the competition he's faced, even going back to his amateur days, where you know he competed for titles that you have held. He's extremely well-rounded, dangerous in all facets of MMA. And if you climbed to 4-0 over a win over Will Smith, that puts you in prime. He's got the Tupperware out now for the rice and beans, but that puts you in prime position for some serious marquee fights in the very near future in one of the most stacked divisions, not only just in the region or just in the globe. I mean, it's one of the most stacked divisions at the top level. It's one of the most stacked divisions throughout bantamweight.
Yeah, say 25, 35, 45, 55 across the board, whatever type of promotion you look at, that's like the most talent. I mean,
so Jeff, you heard what he had to say towards you. You know, I kind of get that same question for you. You know, what's your message to Will? You know, this is a fight that we've been waiting for since April. What would the message to Will be if you had one?
You know, I really don't. I don't get, like, I heard what he said too, and I don't get into that. You know what I mean? I'm very much a person like I don't talk shit because we'll just take it to the next level. There's no point in talking shit. So just what he said, man. Like, be ready. I'm expecting his best. I know he's expecting my best, and you know, I'm not watching his worst performances. I'm watching his best performance, and I'll tell you what, I Bellator 256. Me and my coaches talked a lot about that. He looked really good. That's what I'm preparing for.
All right. Well, I know that I'm excited for this fight to finally have it happen. Before we let you go, we've been asking everybody, what's your candy for Halloween?
Sour Patch Kids all day, bro.
All right. I like that. Sour Patch Kids.
I even put them in the freezer a little bit. Boom.
Oh, that's an interesting play.
I'm gonna have to trademark that, bro.
Freezing the Spatch Kids. I dig it.
Yep. Yeah, and then I watched obviously the last couple events. Fucking just definitely want to give out a shout out to that 135 title fight. That was fucking poof. Yeah.
Arthur and Arthur, yep.
Amateur title fights at cage sightings, huh? You guys have a handful of them that are pretty great.
Good.
Yeah, man. Former opponent and former training partner of yours, then former opponent. Definitely got to feel good to see him holding on to that belt.
Yeah, but of course, and like Arthur's a friend of mine, and I still, to this day, I texted him before the fight. I've been talking to him, and I've trained with him a couple times, like when he's been up here. Not anytime recently, but not taking from his performance and stuff like that. But hey, man, that kid from Maine, Tyler Smythe.
Yep.
That kid's fucking nasty.
Yeah.
Because I've fought Arthur, and I've had many sparring rounds with him, and Arthur's a big boy. Like when we fought, I was 141, he was 161. Tyler's definitely a smaller kid like me, and Arthur's tough to keep down, and he made it look like pretty fucking dominant.
Yeah, it was an interesting fight to say the least. But any last words before we let you go? We got Sage Philippe in the queue, ready to come on. He's taking on Marty Navis. Any last words for your family, friends, fans that have been supportive of you?
Yeah, man, just like real quick, I appreciate everything really, and just the sponsors really, the whole Daniel Gracie affiliation, and the John Marquez and Banana and his gyms down there, and John Grassi has been a main sponsor of mine, since going back a little bit before my first pro fight. So definitely want to give a shout out to his construction company, his Grassi Enterprises. And that's about it, man. I'm super excited. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to, get too crazy and talk too much, but I'm training hard for this one. So.
Well, we'll see you in a short few weeks. I'm sure we'll talk to you before then. And there you have it. Jeff Joy taking on Will Sriracha Smith. We still don't have a nickname for him, but thank you for taking time out of your dinner, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, brother.
We'll leave you back to the meal prep and take